here's my vlog for the 18th of February 2023, Saturday at 8:52 p.m. Ooh, I just felt like all this blast of air hit my face. Um, I'm still currently working on my getting fonts installed on my computer. 3,719 of them. Yeah, because I saw some tutorial on how to activate Adobe fonts where my Adobe fonts weren't on my website. So, like an idiot, I think because I was just smoking too much weed and maybe spaced out, I was doing it the way that he said he would to do it, where you just copy and paste, and I was like, man, what am I doing that for? So I just started copying and pasting like 100 at a time. I didn't want to do that in the beginning because I didn't want it to not get through because they're kind of big and complicated. I didn't want a bunch to not get through and me not know. I wanted to make sure I'd have everyone. But I realized I was stupid because they're not even that big. So I think the whole thing is like a gig and a half. So then but I did in chunks of like 100. Okay. Because I didn't want it to freeze and then not know where it froze and stuff. Which took a while. And like 100 at a time, I just copy and pasted. And so I created a new folder with all the fonts. And that's how I found out it was 3,719. And then I would take out like 120 at a time, like a little bit more than what you could see in a screen. You can see like 77, I think. And just put them in another folder and then do the operation on that folder. And then just drag all those at once back into the other folder and then get another one out. And I have to do that like 38 times or 35 times or something. So I don't know, maybe tomorrow. I wasn't up all day today working because like I just finally cracked, I guess. For many days in a row, I wasn't really getting that much sleep. You know, I was getting like 4 hours. I'd get up at I'd work, like one day I worked until 8 in the morning and then I got up at 1. I think I worked at, 8:30 until like 1:30, so like 5 hours between working. So today I got up and I was working, but then I did kind of fall asleep during the middle of the day, like with the computer on my chest. So I kind of hasn't been the most productive in terms of hours, but yeah, I'm up now. I'll be working all night probably and in the morning, because what I'm doing is super simple. So yeah, what I have to do is, oh, and the cool thing is I get to see the fonts. I was saying this yesterday, and when I'm done, I can't wait to do the screen captures of every single font because I want to know how many screen captures it is. I could actually calculate it now. It's not 77. It's less than that because 77, that includes just the edge. You have to be able to see the name too. So it's something like 50, 3,750 by 50. I don't know. That's a lot. So because that way you can, and then you can see all of those images with the little font, and you can see even the fonts when all the images on there, right? You know what I mean? Here, let me make sure you know what I'm talking about. Like you do a screen capture of all of the fonts, and so it's like 50 fonts. That becomes an image. You put that image on your computer, and that's just one of the many images. So you have like 50, and each has 50. 50 times 50 is what, 5,000? So you have 5,000 fonts right on your screen to look from. And you can see each and every one of those individual fonts. So that's actually really cool. It's like an eagle scanning over the earth looking for a rat or something. You're like, which font do I want out of the 5,000? You can see them right there. And then maybe even if I have more than that, I don't know if I can't get them all, but you just do it again. But anyway, yeah, because it's really interesting looking at these fonts as I'm building them. Because what I have to do is I have to go over the font because it has a number. That's like what Adobe names them. I guess Adobe doesn't name them the name. They should, but so you right click on Get Info, and then down there it has the name of it. So then you just copy it and then paste it on the name, and then go up to the search bar, paste it on there, and then it's there. And then you just double click it, double left click it, and then it pops up and it says activate. So you just hit the activate button. I just have to do that 3,719 times, and I think I'm like 1,000 in. So if I work all night tonight, and then maybe tomorrow, all of tomorrow, I'll finish it. But the most of the time isn't activating the font. Like if I wanted to activate all these fonts on my computer, my other computer, which I want to, the only thing I have to do is open up that folder, and then open up, and then just click on each one successfully. You just click on it, the thing comes up, click activate, click on it, thing comes up, activate, click on it, thing comes up, activate. You have to do that 3,000 times, and 3,719 times, and it takes a little bit of time. Like you click on it, and then it comes up, activate, and then the little search bar actually goes, but that's usually just like a half second. But sometimes it takes a few seconds. So, but it's basically as fast as your fingers can work. So, I mean, to do that that's like an all day. That'll take all day to activate those fonts on the other computer. But I'm not going to use all those fonts. But I mean, I would do that if I have to do web work on the other computer. But I don't think I'd have to do that if I just do all the web work on this computer and use that other computer for whatever else. And then I would just come up with a list, and I'd even have a page with a sample of all the fonts on my website. These are the fonts you need. And then I would just get those fonts activated on that computer. But it would be as many fonts as I can use. I try to use if I could use all of them if I could. Like every single thing's going to have I want to have a different font. Like every page has a different text font and menu font. Like individual for each one. To give it that extra personalization. And I was thinking of putting images in the background of maybe on the top part. But I don't know. But so anyways, it's super brainless work. Oh man, I was stuck up Shit Creek today, but didn't have any money. I went to the supermarket and I got food, and like I couldn't get it. The guy offered to put the food back, but like both of my credit cards and my debit card, and I had no cash. And I call them, like, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, you're overdrawn. So I go to my site, and I'm like, well, it doesn't say I'm overdrawn, so I guess it'll have to tell me tomorrow that I'm overdrawn, because I paid taxes too early this year, which I normally don't, or I guess, and I forgot, and so anyway, and I still have to have this pay taxes from last year. There's this note in my room, but anyway, luckily my mom was coming back from Denver at the time, and met me at the supermarket, or picked me up here, and we went to the supermarket, and she bought me some food. And then I'll just go over and get a savings advance tomorrow. But yeah, and I cleaned up the ferret poop from my bathroom for the first time in like a month or more today. They've been barfing blood. I hope they don't die in 2 different places. One of them has. I have too many things in my house that they've been eating. And but they still seem to be all right. They're so tame. They like to come up to me and lick me. And then when they bite me, they barely bite me. They're like, oh. But anyway, I also bought everything I need for my iguana cage. So it's just that whenever I get around to it. So I watched like some documentaries on fonts today, which are interesting, and after I get these fonts activated, then I can finally see. My whole life is just all of these like detours I have to make just to do a simple thing. I have to take like 3 days off just to activate fonts on my computer. But once I do that, I'm gonna go and I have to know which font is appropriate. So I have to become like a font historian, and I just put fonts all over on all my pages, in my books, and I guess until I get bored with that, and then do the same thing with icons. And last week I had like a very brush with trying to quit the site, and I thought I was gonna do it. But right now I'm not feeling like I want to do that at all. And the key to be successful at that is to not drive that car outside, because driving the car gives me this sense of freedom, and I start thinking about possibilities, you know, like driving it up like a sports car, like a rally car, up into the mountains. But I think what I'm gonna do is just turn my car, because the insurance isn't really that much, because it's old. I think the insurance was like a couple hundred for like 6 months. I can't remember. It was like 80 a month, and it wasn't much. I'll have to go look, but my mom set it all up. I wasn't paying attention. But so I can just park it, you know. I'll just park it and like not drive it, so that as I get the money together, I can and maybe myself, working on it myself. I want to set it up, dude, as a sports car. Basically, treat it as a museum piece, and just a living museum piece, and set it up as a freaking sports car, and do whatever I can do to make it as fast 0 to 60 as I can in quarter mile. And then I'm also, the other thing that I'm doing with my time is I'm making a little list of all the cars I can think of, and I'm doing their 0 to 60. And I wish at the beginning I wrote in their 0 to 60 in a quarter mile, because with the quarter mile I can incorporate that into my bike racer level pages, because cyclists in bike racing with like the Olympics, they do their 400 meter sprint, so that's a quarter mile, or is it 500 meters? So that's like the same, so you can compare them. And so then you would ratio wise, you assign a car to each level, and you would just put the little icon of the car next to each level in there. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. That's cool. That's freaking cool. And I think I'll do it based on the quarter mile time. So, but I'm having my list here based on that. And I didn't come up with that after I have that idea or remember that after I had already built this really long list. So I wish I did in the beginning. Anyway, so then I'm also, it's cool because I have like hundreds of Matchbox cars that are all in my bathroom, and each one's different. So like, for example, this is an Audi. I'll find out what model of Audi this is, Audi. And then on the hood, really big, bright, I write it 0 to 60 time. I should do its quarter mile time. Whatever, maybe I'll do the quarter mile later, but do the 0 to 60. And then put that up on my room, in my bathroom. So every car you look at, you see it 0 to 60. Some of them will surprise you, but some of them, the ones that I have, are like the souped up version. But yeah, like I'm currently, I'm at 7.810 to 60. Like officially, when you look on the website, it's a 1996 Subaru Impreza 2.2 liter hatchback, and yeah, it's like rare. Like usually they're only 2 liters, and then they went from 2.5. So it's like cool. So I have or they were usually like 1.8. So I have like 2.2. It's like, and it has electric like locks, but it has handle windows, so it's super light. Like it's 1,800 pounds, and maybe mine's even lighter than that. Maybe the ones they were showing was 1,800 was the one with the electric doors or windows, but yeah, like 1,800 pounds of light. But it's faster 0 to 60 than a 1977 Ferrari 308, which is Magnum PI car. That's like 8.1. It's faster than a Mercedes 300 SL, which is from like the 60s or the 50s or whatever, but it's that really fast looking Mercedes with the gull wing, the James Bond car. It's faster than, yeah, it's faster than a lot of cool cars. So I'm already in sports car territory. Like in the late 70s, you know, I could put on like an Afro hat and some like disco shoes, and I could be like, I got a sports car. But after I get it set up, dude, I'll be up in with the like 911 territory. You know, I could take the seat out and the spare tire and both the seats out, and sub 5, 0 to 60. I have a highway right next to my house where the speed limit's the speed limit's 65, and there's red lights on the middle of the highway, like a lot of them. So I want to go out. So it's like a perfect place. I'm just gonna go out there, put my phone filming the car, and then just with all the other cars, make sure I have to be in the front of the first car there, but. And then, yeah, just do my 0 to 60s on the highway. Find out what it is on my actual car. See if it's the same as stock. But yeah, so that's going to be a fun thing to do. It's all-wheel drive. It's like super handler, like, oh my God. So to have like as little experience with that at all, like with it, not experience how awesome it is now, which it is, and then just suddenly start driving it, and it's like, badass state, dude, that'll be so much fun. I'll be like, oh my God. And at that point, I'll probably be like, oh, okay, now it's time. You know what I mean? But if I were to do that too soon, I could lose my balance, freak out, and then try to abandon my site, which would not be a good idea because, you know, in order to just make an inch worth of progress on my site, it takes like 3 or 4 days of like working all day. So the only way I'm going to do anything is if I just work all day. And, you know, like this next project I want to do, I'm like, find the appropriate font and thousands of fonts for each thousands of pages. Like there's another time consuming project. So yeah, my brain, I've been preoccupied. I haven't really been listening to anything. I got my new Audible credit. I'll go into my wish list and see if there's anything interesting there and download that. And I need to finish the Harry book because I need to give my mom's Kindle back to her. So that's what I'm up to. But it's so interesting to look at these fonts and activate and be like, oop, there's another one activated. There's another one I can use because they're just every kind of font you can imagine. I guess if like you wanted to benefit from all of my fancy fonts on my website, you would have to have a Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. But I think a lot of people have that, and more as we go on, I think will. So it's not too much to ask. And I think anybody's, like, most of the people smart enough to benefit from my site in all of its glory with the fonts and everything. And the fonts do add a lot, you know, because a font means something. A font gives you a subliminal message. If you have a font that, in the exact font that the exact book was in, you know, it'll have this magical effect. But I think the people who would benefit from that, I think maybe most of those people are probably the same people who already have Adobe Creative Cloud or some kind of Envato or somewhere where they could get the fonts that I use. So, and if they don't in the future, you know, maybe there's some kind of copyright deal and just all the fonts will be on all of the computers. That's what I'm hoping. So, and I guess they slow computers down a little bit, but in the future the computers will be fast enough. So. Anyway, but I mean, for me to look at the fonts on there, it's gonna be cool, because I've got some funky fonts. I have everything. Yeah, I kind of want to study all of them now. But yeah, but I mean, I did manage to get weed yesterday with cash. Transfer cash. Oh yeah, it's 3%. So for $100, it costed $3, and then I have to pay 18%. But as long as I pay all my credit card off within a month, then I don't have to pay that. So. Anyway, because I have to stay high if I'm going to be doing this. But it's such easy work. I want to start listening to something now that I'm into the groove. But I feel like an idiot. I was just transferring over one at a time, like that guy said, for 780 of them. Because it's so much faster this way. I'm just going right click, info, copy, paste, paste. Oh, there you go. Double click. Click. Boom. One after the other. Anyway, okay, so that's enough talking. My birds come in here and hang out with my cockatiel all the time. When I bring the cage out, I'm hoping they'll teach them how to fly. Okay, talk to you later.